Okay, so here's the thing. I've actually been reading Naruto. I know, if you go all the way back to like close to the beginning of this channel, I have a review of Naruto. But there's been something in me that I've been wanting to revisit this series for a very long time. Because Naruto has always been around for me. I mean, yeah, as a kid, I was drawn to Dragon Ball Z during the Toonami thing, but Naruto has always kind of been this thing in the background. I caught a little bit of the anime growing up. People did the Naruto run. You know what I mean? It was always kind of in that part of my mind. But I really was never considered myself a fan of it. But even when I started collecting manga, yeah, I collected the box sets because Naruto was a name that I knew for decades at this point. And I read through it all the way through the Pain arc, but it was just kind of there. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, Naruto. It's popular. But then as my manga collection grew and I just kept reading and reading other things, it kind of just got pushed deeper and deeper and deeper down. Even though I kind of enjoyed what I read of it, but it never really stuck with me. So that's why I wanted to revisit it. And it's just been sitting on the shelf in its box set form, like just taunting me. Just like, dude, come on. You know I'm good. You know this fandom has been around for decades because I am amazing. Like, you know you're going to enjoy me when you read. Just read me, man. Just come on. So yeah, I finally gave in and read it. And what I'm going to talk about in this video is pretty much volumes 1 through 4. The first arc of it. If you don't like, it's the Zabuza stuff, like the hidden mist village bridge thing. I know it's gotta have a name. I'm gonna put it right here. That arc. So when I picked up the first volume of Naruto, you know, it's introducing you to all the characters: Sakura, Sasuke, Kakashi, Naruto. He's the main character. He's got a demon fox inside of him, if you didn't know. And when we're introduced to Naruto, he's like painting on the Hokage Mount Rushmore that they have. And here's the thing. So people always talk about Naruto kind of being an annoying character, you know, the believe it.
Believe it! Believe it! So believe it! Then believe it! Believe it! Believe it!
God, which he doesn't actually even say in the manga, at least so far in the 4 chapters. He might have said it one time. I think it does a fantastic job painting him in this look at me. Like, look at me. Give me attention, because as we find out with the story, you know, his parents are, you know, dead. The whole town kind of ostracizes him. And they even say, and I think this is such a great line, they say, you know, the kids don't even know why they ostracize Naruto. They're just doing it. And I think that is such a well-executed thing, especially for a manga that's 1999, 2000, I guess maybe it came out. I'll put it right there. Because that is a trope that has been done time and time again in Shonen. A series that I really, really hold dear and really enjoy, Black Clover. Asta, you know, for better or for worse, has Naruto traits to him. But I think what Naruto does immediately right off the bat that's so incredibly well done is giving you a reason why he is, hey, look at me, look at me. But they're kind of giving you a reason of why this kid wants to be the center of attention. Because, you know, later on in the chapters, Kakashi says he got tired of crying. He got tired of it. He's done. And instead he acts out as a kid acts out. You know what I mean? And I think he does the brash, full confidence thing because no one's believed in him. You know, he's had no friends. He's had no one that really even cared about him except for his teacher. And boy, when he defends his teacher, let me tell you, when that panel comes and he's standing there with the scroll after he's learned the doppelganger technique, buddy, there are 2 moments in these 4 volumes when the Nine Tails kind of gets released and Naruto kind of snaps a little bit. You know, the Sasuke thing when he, you know, takes the needles from Hikaru. Oh, great stuff. It's so good. It's so good. And I kind of came into this stepping back because I've read a ton of shonen, you know what I mean? And yes, there are tropes, but you also have to think of this 1999, 1998, 2000, somewhere in that era. You know, a lot of things have copied Naruto. So you kind of have to go in with like, this wasn't a trope when this was written. which is kind of tough to do, but that's what I tried to go in. We've seen main character has hidden power inside of it and snaps and has that moment of like, you have messed with the wrong individual. So I am going to give it some leniency for that, and I still think that it was earned. Both of those moments were very much earned, because Naruto had just heard his teacher finally say, like, he's not a screw up, or he might be a menace, you know what I mean? But he's such a good kid. And again, Naruto has no one to believe in him, up until these points. So of course he would snap. Of course he would do anything to protect his teacher. And the same with Sasuke. And Sasuke even doesn't even know why he stepped in there. He's like, all right, listen, my body just moved. Honestly, this is pathetic what's going on with me right now. But that builds that relationship. And obviously, like I said, I've read through the Pain arc before, so I know where that relationship goes. It's kind of fun to go back and see these building blocks of these relationships that are forming. And that's another thing that I think I really respected about this series and kind of enthralled me. And it's like, trust me, I'm going to keep reading more and more and more. Is we're in that moment where Team 7 gets formed. The 4 main people that we are following for a good chunk of Naruto are introduced at this moment. Wow, don't get me wrong. I still love me some Shikamaru. Okay, listen, whoa. Shikamaru is awesome. Rock Lee is pretty cool. I can't wait till we get to them. And the Chunin exam. Oh, the Chunin exam. Oh, the Chunin exam. Let me tell you. Gaara and the Chunin exam is some of my favorite stuff in Naruto. But we're not here to talk about that. But it's so good when Rock Lee opens the gates. All right, I'm getting sidetracked. So being in that moment where this team is finally formed, and of course they all come, with their own baggage. But I think I never really realized how almost immediately these relationships and these characters together start changing one another, and to do that so quickly, like it feels earned when Kakashi kind of starts caring for this team, because, we find out that, no one's ever passed with Kakashi. He kind of just doesn't care about it. And for some reason, these 3 kids that he is now, under his control, he starts really feeling for them. You kind of see, even in this small section with the bells, we have to grab the bells or we don't eat. I think that whole thing does a really good job of showing how each character is individually and giving them the reason that they have to come together. Naruto tries to eat the lunches. Sakura is so worried about Sasuke and kind of so in her own head. Yeah, inner Sakura. That was, hey, she does that a lot. And Sasuke is kind of the lone wolf. And it gives it a good reason for them to realize that they're going to have to work together. And in my mind, and I don't know, like I said, I'm no Naruto, like, by any means am I a Naruto savant. You ever say a big word like savant and you're just proud of yourself? That is me right at this moment. Savant. You're learning something while you're hearing probably a person talk about Naruto for the 100th time. Savant. But I think with the grabbing of the bells, this is the first time that Kakashi maybe has seen a team finally come together and kind of realize they get the rule. They understand this ninja journey that they're about to go on. It's not about themselves. It's about the team. It's about the unit. It's about camaraderie. And I think that's why he passes them. And I think it's only solidified later on the bridge with Zabuza. Because then we enter into what I consider kind of the first real arc of Naruto. Obviously, you have the intro, the ramen and them getting the headbands. But this is, I feel like, the first arc where they run into Zabuza. And that story arc is so iconic for me. Not only because it's one of the only story arcs that I've seen in the anime growing up, but I love the fact that in this story arc, you kind of get to see, quote unquote, what the shinobi way does to someone. Because Zabuza, as his final exam, takes out everyone that he grew up with, that he trained with. And Haku kind of shows what Naruto could have been. He was left with nothing, no one, kind of deserted. Which, I mean, yes, he grew up in the Hidden Leaf Village, but Naruto, honestly, was alone. And there could have been a moment in his life where he went the other direction, where he kind of just said, well, if you're going to shun me, I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm not going to stick around here. And who's to say someone like Zabuza couldn't have stumbled across him? You know, it's funny to me. I grew up with the anime a little bit, and I reread a good chunk of Naruto when I started my manga collection a few years ago. But it just didn't hit for me like it did this last time that I read it. In these 4 volumes, everything kind of landed for me. And I feel like, honestly, right? There are times where you're reading something for 1 second and then you kind of put it down. And it might be years until you come back to it. But at that time, it hits for you. And kind of what I think the author was trying to tell you lands. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because it's not to, like, dissect Naruto, right? There are hundreds of channels on YouTube that probably could do a way better job than me. But I just had to make this video because it is wild to me that this series has been so successful in so many different forms for years. I reread it recently and I'm like, oh, whoa, this is kind of amazing. And especially for it to be such high regarded, you know, part of the big 3, the One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, the big 3. And, you know, kind of the 4th with Dragon Ball. I always kind of just put all 4 of those together. And for someone that grew up with Dragon Ball, read through all of Bleach when I started my manga collection and enjoyed it. And then again, you know, listen, there's One Piece. It's pretty good. Hey, I don't know if you know this. One Piece is pretty good. And to kind of revisit part of that zeitgeist that I kind of just were like, you can have your Naruto runs and your headbands. I'm gonna be over here. You know what I mean? And to revisit this series, you know, it's been going on for 24 years, if 25 years probably at this point, and never realizing kind of the storytelling that was happening from the very beginning. Because especially if you think about the time that it got released, a lot of times there was buildup. A lot of the anime and manga of that time period, you know, especially if you look at some shoujos where, like, the biggest thing was, like, they held hands at the very end of the season, you know, or even Dragon Ball and stuff that he yelled for 20 odd episodes. And even in the manga of some of these things, there's this slow buildup, you know, and to look at it and be like, in 4 volumes, he's kind of already introduced the mains, and he's giving you this first story arc to see where these characters that you're just now learning about, absolute darkest path that they can go down. Not only that, these characters that you just met are already growing so much. They're already learning kind of how to be this team and kind of learning stuff about themselves and kind of really evolving in 33 chapters. And not only that, to end this arc on this story beat of Zabuza trying to find not even redemption in this. Dude just takes the kunai and just, no arms, just runs through these people. Man. Dude looks at the guy and is like, I'm gonna take you to hell with me. Like, you want to see what a demon is? Hi. Hello. I'm the demon. So not only to show this team bad roads shinobis could go down, but to show this team that just because someone's went down this road and became this thing, it doesn't mean that they're not human. Zabuza says the great line, no matter how hard I try, you know, the human stuff can never go away. And to kind of end this arc on Kakashi picking Zabuza up and laying him next to Haku, it's so powerful, man. And that's kind of where we leave him in the first arc, you know, and now the Chunin exams are coming up, which I can't wait to read through that. Like, I remember the Chunin exam. Like, I believe that is kind of where I stopped watching the anime. Right there at the Chunin exam, Rock Lee Gaara shows up, you know. That's when you start really building out this world and these characters that Naruto is going to go in and out of his life for the rest of the story. And Shikamaru, maybe you've heard of him. Shikamaru. Oh, Shikamaru. One of my favorite characters. And I know what you're saying to yourself, especially if you've made it this far into the video. You're like, dude, you did a video a long time ago. I know. But I have been reading this all last night, and I just had to talk about it. And I didn't even know really what I was going to add to the conversation, but it was one of those things because I really like, talking with you guys and stuff. But it was just one of those things that I was like, I have to ramble about this because it was me living in one of those moments of this thing that I've kind of dabbled in. It hit me at that right moment. It was a story that I kind of really wanted to read. It had been a while since I read the standard Shonen Jump stuff. Been branching out a lot lately. And for this series that is so popular and so massive around the world, for me to read this, and I just really, really enjoyed it. I just wanted to also put this video out there that if you've made it to the end of it, if you've thought about like Naruto, even stuff that you've maybe written off of, like, it's old, or it's for a younger audience or something. Some of these series that are become so massively popular, they're massively popular for a reason. And surprisingly, they have some really good storytelling. And I think shonen, especially, the big three shonen, can be written off as just kind of like this power fantasy thing. This things that, people around my age and stuff have grown up with, so they've kind of hold it on this pedestal. And to read one of them and to be like, no, dude, this guy was really trying to tell and succeeding, I think, in setting up this world that's going to become so astronomically crazy, while also giving you kind of human stories. And I think that's what I also liked about the beginning. There's a little bit of powers, but relatively in the world of shonen, it's tame. And that's what I really like about the shonen genre in the beginning. Like even One Piece, Dragon Ball, the original. For series that get so astronomical, it's kind of fun to go back to these characters when in their world, they're so small. They're small potatoes in their world. They got, Naruto can barely make a shadow clone in the beginning. And then to realize where he goes, I think it's so much fun to look back on them. Look back before they became these deities, these gods. But I don't know, man. I have probably spent way too much time on this video. I hopefully you enjoyed it, you know what I mean? Because I have really been enjoying my small step back into the world of Naruto. I really, really enjoyed it. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. And as always, I hope that if you're having a bad day, it gets better. If you're having a good day, it becomes fantastic. I'll see you next time.